everybody. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. Those of you that have been here since the student presentation, we've had a good experience. We've had a little bit of food, and now we're ready for the main feast, our keynote address from Sister Rosemary. Let me introduce myself and other people from the Center for World Catholicism and Intercultural Theology. I'm Bill Cavanaugh, Mike Buddy back there, Karen Kraft, who just went out the door, Father Stan Juilo, Francis Salinel, Francis, and Anna Gallon. If you have any questions or any needs throughout the conference, please just ask one of us. We try to do our best to provide good hospitality while you all are here. So I have the pleasure to begin this conference, but this will be perhaps almost the last time you will hear from a man over the course of this conference. Jay Kony, I think Jay back there, is our only male speaker or moderator throughout the weekend, and that of course is very appropriate. We are in kind of a kairos moment for women's leadership in the world and in the church. In the world, you know, in the U.S., you have controversies over our president's relationships with women. You have the Me Too movement. You have record numbers of women running for office. They just said last week that there is a record number of women running for the U.S. House of Representatives, and I think that's true across the nation. And in the church, there have been some small gains in the Vatican for women's leadership under Pope Francis, a commission to study the possibility of ordaining women deacons, and so on. There is, of course, a much broader discussion on the role of women in the Catholic Church. It often is focused on the issue of the ordination of women to the priesthood, and of course that's an important issue, and it will no doubt be discussed at various points over the course of this weekend. But sometimes focusing so much on the priesthood means that the work that women are already doing in positions of leadership in the church is often overlooked. Over the last few decades, historians have paid much more attention than in the past to women's contributions to society. Women's agency in history in general is now extensively explored and celebrated. But this is not always the case with Catholic women. The historian Leslie Tentler has noted, for example, that the influence of Catholic sisters in the United States over history dwarfs the actual attention that they have received from historians. She notes that, quote, "Had women under secular or Protestant auspices compiled this record of achievement, they would today be a thoroughly researched population," end quote, and they're not. In Chicago, everybody knows Jane Addams and Hull House, but as Sue Ellen Hoy pointedly notes, the nuns in Chicago were already doing the work of the settlement houses, while the founders of Hull House were still girls themselves. So there's a lack of recognition of the work that women religious have done in the United States, and that I think extends to women in the church more broadly. The examples that I've given are local, but the same lack of recognition for Catholic women's work applies to the church in the Global South as well. I know from my time in Chile that the women were the backbone of the local church, doing the group organizing and the fundraising and the catechesis and the food preparation and dragging the men to Mass on Sunday and so on. But they didn't have much recognition or power beyond the local level. So this conference hopes to contribute not only to recognizing what is already happening with women's leadership in the world church, but also talking about and planning for the future of women's leadership in the church. And to that end, we have a stellar cast of speakers from around the world who are already exercising leadership. And I want to thank in particular the planning committee that helped plan this conference. Aida Pilarski, thank you, Agnes Brazil, Lillian Dubé, and Barbara Reed. Thank you so much for the good work that you did in kind of shaping this conference, what it would look like, and who we would ask to be part of it. We have an amazing pair of keynote speakers tonight. Sister Rosemary Nyirumbe, one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people. I recently found a reference on the Huffington Post website to, quote, perhaps the only documented instance of a nun threatening to punch someone in the face on television. And that nun, of course, was Sister Rosemary, who was on the would-be recipient of the punch was Stephen Colbert. He was in his character as the kind of crazy right-wing talk show host, and he asked her why should he care about the kidnapped Nigerian girls who first made headlines in 2014. And Sister Rosemary responded, if you cannot be sad because it is happening in Africa, which is part of humanity, I would feel like jabbing you. And she went like this. So I fully intend to stay on Sister Rosemary's good side this weekend. And we also have Sister Melinda Roper, who has worked in Latin America for many years and who led Maryknoll during some of the most dramatic experiences in the Order's history, including the murders of her consorts in El Salvador. In addition to our keynote speakers, we have 5 themes, each of which will be addressed by a panel of 3 speakers. Scripture, and in this session, as Barbara Reed has shaped it, they will try to take the conversation beyond, look, there are women in the Bible, to the next stage in women's biblical interpretation. The panel on ecclesiology will address the question of what the church is and how women's roles should be theorized and practiced. We have sessions on grassroots church communities and social movements, so addressing women's leadership and activism both within the church and in broader society. And a panel finally on theological education, addressing women's growing role in passing on and interpreting the faith. So before Mary Jean introduces Sister Rosemary in a more formal way, I want to, we have a pair of video messages from Maggie Barankitse, who was going to be with us this weekend, but she had to withdraw for circumstances beyond her control. Maggie is the founder of Maison Shalom, a remarkable community of homes for orphans of war that she began in the wake of genocide in Burundi and Rwanda in the 1990s. She began taking in Hutu and Tutsi children and raising them as brothers and sisters. And she is a remarkable, faith-filled woman with an inspiring Eucharistic theology and spirituality. She sent her regrets at not being here, but she's also sent a couple of video messages for us.
Le 24 octobre 1993, je suis sortie la première et je leur ai dit, c'est dimanche, c'est le jour du Seigneur, le jour qui nous rappelle que nous sommes tous enfants de Dieu. Ne soyez pas Caïn qui a tué son frère Abel, malheureusement. Ils m'ont attaché et ils ont assassiné les 72 personnes devant moi. Alors, ma vocation est née là. Donc j'ai pu sauver 25 enfants ce soir-là, du 24. Et mes 7 enfants. Alors, le soir, je leur ai dit, voilà, vous serez une nouvelle génération.
Ma mère et mon père ont été tués à l'évêché de Ruyigi. Et là, j'étais avec Maggie, j'étais très petite. Et mes parents se connaissaient avec Maggie. Et donc, elle nous a pris avec les autres enfants, nous sommes partis.
C'est pas pour vous montrer la tombe, mais c'est pour vous dire que c'est l'amour qui a triomphé. Parce que tous les enfants ont grandi. Vous avez vu Richard, vous avez vu Lydia, Lisette. Je leur ai appris à être une nouvelle génération qui va allumer la lumière du pardon, la lumière d'une vraie réconciliation.
La maison Shalom, c'est un message selon lequel il n'y a pas de fatalité dans la vie. On peut dépasser oublier toutes les difficultés qu'on aurait vécues dans la vie pour avancer vers un destin très positif et très fructueux, je dirais.
Aujourd'hui, ma patrie est de nouveau en proie à la violence. Le président en exercice a violé la Constitution et fait son 3e mandat. Ceux qui ont essayé de protester ont été tués. On voulait me tuer moi aussi. J'ai quitté ma patrie. La maison Shalom au Burundi est à présent fermée car les autorités ont tout fermé. Chez ces personnes. Aujourd'hui, vous restez debout. Never give up. Have you? Never give up. Never give up. Welcome, baby. Ma foi comme chrétienne en un Dieu qui est amour, en un Dieu qui nous dit « N'ayez jamais peur, j'ai vaincu le mal » et qui nous promet qu'il sera toujours avec nous, m'a donné cette audace de créer cet endroit qui porte le nom le plus beau, Oasis of Peace, l'oasis de la paix comme maison Shalom. C'est mon défi encore une fois. Aujourd'hui, pas pour réparer les pots cassés. Aujourd'hui, Oasis of Peace, pour dire au monde entier, à l'humanité tout entière, nous resterons debout. L'Oasis of Peace toutes les personnes de bonne volonté sont invitées à passer par ici. Et puis c'est un lieu où on peut, je dirais, vivre heureux, partager ce qu'on a, vivre dans la convivialité. Et alors, on n'exclut personne. Hein. À vous tous, je vous souhaite de très belles fêtes de Pâques, cette marche vers la résurrection, cet amour infini du Père qui envoie son Fils pour sauver l'humanité, qui sacrifie son Fils pour sauver l'esclave. Voilà l'exultète de Pâques, voilà cette joie que j'aurais aimé, la joie pascale, que j'aurais aimé partager avec vous. Mais je la partage étant ici au Rwanda, où nous avons célébré Pâques, célébré cet amour qui triomphe toujours. Oui, c'est vrai. Oui, la croix qui était un scandale pour les Juifs, folie pour les Grecs, nous a prouvé que c'est le signe invincible, le signe de l'amour. Le tombeau vide que les femmes ont vu, que les femmes ont visité le matin de Pâques, nous montre réellement que c'est toujours la vie qui prend le dessus, que c'est toujours l'amour infini qui prend toujours le dessus. Comme disait Saint Paul, « Ô mort, où est donc ta victoire ?» J'aimerais vous le dire que c'est toujours l'amour qui prend le dessus, que ce ne sera jamais la mort qui aura le dernier mot. C'est toujours la vie. Et cette vie, je l'ai expérimentée. Je voudrais vous le répéter parce que l'indifférence qui est expérimentée dans le monde, l'indifférence que nous voyons, moi, je suis ici avec tous les enfants de la Maison Shalom à montrer cette générosité, cette compassion qui a animé les cœurs de mes amis et qui a poussé que j'ose créer, j'ose croire. Après avoir expérimenté le massacre de 72 personnes devant moi, j'ai cru en l'amour. Parce que j'ai été à la chapelle, j'ai demandé au Seigneur, comment est-ce possible que mes frères, que mes sœurs puissent tuer leurs propres frères et leurs propres sœurs. Mais après, 24 ans après, je peux vous dire que ce n'est jamais la mort qui prend le dessus. C'est l'amour qui a vaincu. Quand je vois le visage de Dieudonné, quand je vois Richard, qui est le directeur aujourd'hui, le directeur national de la Maison Shalom, je peux vous affirmer que c'est l'amour, c'est la compassion. Ce n'est jamais l'indifférence dans le monde qui prendra le dernier mot. Je voudrais alors vous souhaiter, à vous tous, de croire, de vous lever et de témoigner de cet amour infini du Père que nous avons célébré à Pâques, que c'est toujours, on chantera toujours l'Alléluia. Merci beaucoup et très très belle conférence.
Good evening, everyone. And the title of the degree includes conflict. I'm so happy to be able to introduce our first keynote speaker for the conference, Rosemary Nyirumbe. We do have the biography of her here, but I can just say a few words of it and add a few other words that actually come from Sister. She was born in Uganda, near the Ugandan-Congo border, and she's a member of the Congregation of the Sacred Heart Sisters an affiliate of the Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ of Juba, South Sudan, and Roman Catholic Order. She has become a global advocate for and about, and local practitioner for providing vocational training for disadvantaged young women, along with primary education for their children. And so for the last 30 years, she's answered this call to serve the least among those who's in the epicenter of bloody and violent civil wars, both in northern Uganda and South Sudan. And so most of you probably read that she has a sewing school. And I would just like to show that there's much more to it than teaching vocational education to young girls who got caught in the center of these wars. In northern Uganda, it was actually captivity by the oddly named Lord's Resistance Army of Joseph Kony. So just as boys were picked up, so were girls picked up. Some became rural soldiers and some became sex slaves. So that's it. They suffered a tremendous trauma when they escaped. Those who were lucky enough found Sisters Organization, which then provided them with housing. Armed with only a sewing machine and her love and dedication, Sister Rosemary openly defied Joseph Kony and supported these children who are now runaways from his army at the St. Monica's Girls Training Center. And so she explains it, she says one facet of it in this way. A difficulty faced by the girls, invisibility. They escaped and were seen as people who were damaged. They had suffered the trauma of sexual abuse and bore children of this. So when they went back to their parents, their families, they were just ousted. So they were on their own. She says, while many people have heard of the lost boys, and I expect most of you have, former child soldiers sometimes brought to the United States for education and rehabilitation. What wonderful gifts for them. Quote, I have not heard the term lost girls. Why are people not talking about the girls? Why are we not caring for them? These girls don't have the opportunity the boys have, simply because they have the scar that will follow them, and that scar is their babies, their children. These girls need support, need education. They are the future of the nation. They are giving hope to the nation by coming into a school like Sisters and not only receiving sewing training, but learning skills that have brought a lot of them out into the world and into education so they can be independent young women. You can read this. It also says that she holds an MS in leadership and mission from Duquesne University, Rome, as well as honorary doctorates from both Duquesne and DePaul University. She was recognized as a CNN hero in 2007 and as one of Time's 100 most influential people of 2014. There's also a documentary, so I hope you can read about that. So what we're going to see first is not Sister, but Sister on video. Seems to be the practice here. It's very good. So I'll welcome you to watch the video, and then we'll introduce Sister herself. Thank you.
There's a corner of the world that has lived without peace for over 25 years. A place where scars run deep and the effects of a dark past are felt every moment of every day.
Gimone maneno no time chalo time la wuogi nyo karmo ngipi karma.
An karatam kete nina anno when miarum we go wile kon de kon.
It's really very difficult to define hope, but it's something which I would just say I start living it now. My hope starts now. I'm not going to think for yesterday.
There no chance and you me don't come. I know send money out them mama beg.
People whom the community has put aside, Sister Rosemary loves them so much.
I think what you can do here is love and accept these girls and really work with them. The past will never be recovered, but there is a future. We can still walk in hope.
I want to assure you that we are not going to punch anybody. That's the only thing which makes me always look bad, but it is for truth and I really meant to do it. It came spontaneously because I thought the person was not understanding exactly what I meant. So I wanted to show him that gesture. I must say I'm really happy to be back in DePaul because I was here 3 years ago when I received the honorary doctorate, and it was a great time, except it was too cold. And I actually told people, do not ever invite me again when it is cold. So I want to thank you for inviting me at a better time. This time I feel a little better that it is warm and the weather is going to favor us, I hope, all through the week. The topic we are supposed to discuss or to talk about or to introduce is quite a difficult one, but I feel it is something which can easily be spoken because, first of all, we are calling ourselves daughters of wisdom, I saw. What about the guys? How are we calling them? How are we calling the men who are with us? Brothers of wisdom, maybe? Or sons of wisdom? It's very important for us to understand that part, daughters of wisdom. That means we have something in common and we have something which really cuts across. When you watch the video of Margaret and you watch later the video from Uganda, I think it touched you quite deeply and painfully. That is to tell you the challenges which we meet in different parts of the world. And also to say, in those difficult challenges, there are always people who must get up and sacrifice their lives. There are people who must stand up. You don't know what tomorrow is going to offer. You never know if you're going to remain alive. But it's very important to stand up for somebody. And that's what you have witnessed Margaret doing. I think I personally have not been doing much as she has done, and I really feel challenged to see what she has done. But to tell you the truth, I have lived in a very difficult situation of war, or civil war in northern Uganda for a long time, to the point that I totally had to come up with something which must fit in my call as a religious and as a Catholic nun. I knew what I was going to do would be a little bit contrary even to what the church believes in, because I had seen exactly what was said here, that young women who were abducted together with boys, taken and trained as child soldiers, abused, raped, and these young women started getting children out of sexual violence from these rebels. When they escaped and come back, they were not accepted in the society. The boys were accepted. And on top of that, no one exactly knows what these young women go through while taking care of children of their captors. Nobody knows the level of trauma these women go through until today. I'm talking of something which happened many years ago, but up to today, these women are still bearing that scar. And it is very true that people do not talk or do not even know that there were young women trained as soldiers, child soldiers all over Africa, are known to be boys, definitely. But in our case in northern Uganda, there have been so many young women trained as child soldiers. And every time you talk with these women, up to today, you will hear a new story. Last week, I met one of the women who remained in captivity for 20 years. She's out for a long time. She has 5 children from this lunatic. She has nobody to care for her. She lives alone, and her only refuge is St. Monica, the school we started. We've taught her skills, sewing, cooking, and so forth. But all what we have taught her is enough to let her walk among people as a human beings, but it's not adequate to take care of her children because she is a mother and father to these kids. So we decided to bring her in and employed her in our house because we wanted to be closer and closer. We said, you work with us here. But this girl came up with something which quite surprised me, and I need to share this with you. She came to me with a picture of this man. This picture was taken when she was only 2 years in captivity, 2 years. And she was abducted when she was 13. 15 years old, this guy was standing straight, holding this woman like this, and he held one of his legs up. This girl had to hold, and they took a picture. This picture pained my heart to see that level of slavery for a young girl. And this girl didn't know even the magnitude of the pain I was feeling anymore. And she told me, she said, sister, can you keep that picture with you? I said, yes. I said, do you value this picture? She said, yes. I said, can you tell me why? She said, because I need my children to know that he is their father. You know, I didn't even want to get angry. I didn't lose my head, but I said, this girl needs to be brought out. This girl needs to know that she was actually a slave. But you see, this is the coping mechanism of slaves. They tend to cope with their captors. They tend to follow them. And this woman was stripped of all her rights, all her dignity. She's left with nothing except thinking that that was the only way. I got the picture, and honestly, I didn't know where to put the picture. I put it under my table. Every time I looked at it, it pained me to the point that I took a picture of that picture on my phone. Because I am planning exactly what I can tell this woman about this picture. And I want to help her to tell her children that that was not a right father. This is exactly the challenges we face as leaders in such situations. Sometimes we think leadership is something which must make you look great, or leadership must be something you have to study and you have to analyze, you have to get a meaning. For me, leadership is facing such challenges, giving a meaning to people, giving a voice to people. And our real struggle, my real struggle up to today is to give a meaning, to let these women understand that they were badly treated and they need to rise above that. Not only that, we have always been discussing all the challenges of leadership of women. And when we're talking about this, we know very well that our society makes us to be who we are. And our society, of course, I must say, we women, as we are here, we women train our children. We tell the boy, do not cry because you are a boy. And this social construct is exactly what keeps on diverting all of us in our role as leaders. And of course, in order for us to change this trend of society, we who are educated, we who are leaders, must rise up and bring these women, like the woman I'm talking to you about, to the mainstream. I know in Catholic Church, there is a serious discussion about the roles of women in the church. And of course, I totally agree that women play a vital role. People, you can imagine that women bring life. Women have catered. Women have cared for the church. Women have nurtured life in church. And yet, there are also women that have never been recognized. But we continue discussing that we need that role to be clearly pronounced. And today again I heard about the discussion which is going on that women may soon be recognized to be ordained as deacons. I don't know if that is what we want. Is that what we want really? Let me tell you, I don't want it. Not that I want you to say the same thing about it. Like me, I think we can talk about priesthood. Why are we talking only about being deacons? And also, if we talk about being priests, let us know that not everybody is going to be ordained as a priest. Priesthood is also a vocation, it's also a call. And who knows, maybe among us, 50 women here, there will be only 2 who will have the vocation of being priests. You know, we are used to thinking that the highest role or the highest position of women in church could be when we reach the level of ordination. But you can see it's really not true. Women have been leaders for a long, long time. We have been leaders since the beginning of religion, and we still want that highest position. We have led actually the highest position. We are very powerful that we do not even want to talk about how powerful we are. Women are able to come together, cry together. We are able to solve a very difficult puzzle. It is very important for us though, as we continue this discussion, even about priesthood, about becoming deacons, or getting the highest position of leadership in church, we need to bring in some new topics. There should be some flavors. Are we not getting tired of this topic of priesthood? And for me, the flavor we can bring is the flavor of partnership and unity with our counterparts, the male. Let the males in the Catholic Church know we are not quitting. We have come to stay. We need to work together with them. If we keep on arguing about priesthood, and we know that not many of us are going to be ordained priests, this topic will become obsolete. Let's talk of the new flavor. Let us make them accept that we can work in partnership. Let them understand that we actually went ahead of them in many things. The truth is that without women, the church cannot stand. Look at the roles lay women and lay sisters play in bringing up the church. If I go back to the rural women I'm talking about, who would spend time to stay with these women, giving them that dignity, giving them that voice? Not a man. And to tell you the truth, while we try to do what we are doing, we are not going to let people think we are finding it soft. There are a lot of challenges, and the challenges is coming a lot from our counterparts. That's why I say we need to learn to work with them in unity and partnership. I've been challenged many times. When I started bringing these women to come in school with their children, because they had nowhere to leave their children, because their own families has deserted them, shunned them because they called them rebels, called them that they are having children of rebels. People in the church criticized me. Maybe they thought that was going to be the first and last time I would think of bringing women together with their children. I started bringing even the pregnant ones. The reason why I was doing this was not because I wanted to be a rebel in the Catholic Church. If that is part of the rebellion, I would have accepted it. Because I wanted these women to find compassion and love. I wanted these women to find a place where they can feel accepted, a place where they can have their dignity restored, a place, a home, where they can be with fellow women who can show them the right path. I wanted these women to understand their life can be reconstructed. Their future can be better. I wanted them to know people care for them. And actually, the woman I talked to you about, she was asked by somebody in front of me, say, what can you tell me about what you've gone through? What message do you want me to give to people outside? This man was coming to Belgium, and the woman answered, tell people they should not forget about us. People think we have gone through this problem for many years and it's already gone and we are okay, but yet we are struggling. Nobody is thinking about us. We are facing new challenges, and the challenges they are facing is the challenges of bringing up these children, the future generation. So our greatest roles as leaders, as women, would be to empower these women, to empower them to pass the right message to their children. Because these women, if we neglect them, they will neglect their children, and these children will become perpetrators of the violence. Look at that leader, the rebel leader, Joseph Kony, with so many children. If you look at Joseph Kony and someone asks you, what type of leader is he? You may say, he is just a bad leader. It is not only that. He is a bad leader. He has something which convinced a lot of people that he is a good leader. So when we talk about leadership, it is not only just leadership. There is the bad element and the good element, which we need to separate. We have bad leaders, we have good leaders. And Joseph Kony brought up children who are innocent. And these children have the blood of leadership. If we don't stand up and redirect their sense of leadership, where do we think they're going? Some of them would think they can follow the trend, the path of their fathers. So it is up to us to help their mothers to let these children understand the importance of being good leaders, the importance of breaking the circle of violence. And it is also very important for us to, little by little, let these children know this man, know their father, and all what he has committed. I really think many times, as women, as leaders, we get caught up very high up, and we continue going ahead. We do not think about those we are leaving behind. We do not even think that the most important thing would be to bring them to the mainstream. I was speaking with someone who was sitting near me that I have been requesting my superiors that whichever sister they're sending to come to work with the women must be a sister who is empowered, a sister who is prepared. Not just pick anybody and you think that person should come in. You must be properly educated. Because if you are not prepared, you will not know what message you can pass. A good leader must be innovative. If you have no innovation, you cannot help people who have no rights, people who think their life has ended. A good leader must be humble. So many times we are caught up with our high education, and I think leadership should bring us down to look at those who are not educated, at those who are left behind, and educate them. If you are a leader, you will go down to look at this group of people and bring them some ideas that they can come up with. Last year, we had a peace conference organized in our center by the Catholic Church in Gulu, and our center hosted that peace conference. I was very disappointed with the conference, not because I was not part of it, but because I heard only intellectual and educated women. Very few of them were given a chance to speak, and none of the women in our center was even asked to speak about their role in peace building. They pained me, and I complained almost for 1 week, and then at the end I said, Rosemary, why are you complaining? Do hold a peace conference. I decided to hold a peace conference. In June, we are going to have a peace conference with the women only. I'm getting women from camps. I'm getting refugees women from South Sudan. I'm getting women who are once abducted. I want them to speak about their role in peace building as leaders in their communities. They were not given that chance. And why should I waste my time? I need to stand up for them and let them know they can actually speak because they are leaders by right. And so that conference, I would invite some of you to come and attend. In June, if you have a chance, come. You will hear the voices of these women. You will hear them telling exactly how they are left out, how people just bypass them. And now we are giving them the biggest platform. We are inviting some other people from universities in the United States to come and join, come and listen. That's why I'm taking this opportunity to extend this invitation. I don't know who is the responsible person here. Father Stan? Who? I don't know. To DePaul, any of you can come and join this conference. Leadership must make us go above what we think is impossible. I used to think this was impossible, but I realized I cannot do it by myself. I asked other people to help me. I said, please, let's walk around what is causing me a lot of pain, what is causing me a lot of grievances, and everything has been worked out. I always tell people, when you have a dream, bring it out. If you don't bring it out and you keep it for yourself, it's not going to be helpful. And many leaders are dreamers. A lot of leaders, maybe this is more a problem with the men, I don't know. They talk, they plan, but the implementation remains. Women implement. I am giving this, I'm telling this with the due respect to all our men who are here. Women implement your plans. And so, if anyone is going to say this husband is against us the men, you are wrong. I'm very gender sensitive. I am mindful of all what is going on. And for this reason, I really believe we can only work together with the men in all what we're doing. I think I have just something which I wanted to say. The mentality to continue that women are given second position of leadership in every aspect of life. We know there are too many justifications for this. Yet, we also forget what is said in the book of Genesis, that God created man and woman in his image. I know there are other justifications that women are the ribs and so forth. We are all leaders in one way or another, but there are those that go ahead of others by what they do, the way they live, and yet our society will often affect us in all our leadership roles. That means to be a good leader, you must be seen doing something. Your action must speak. And again, I ask myself, do we need titles in order to be leaders? Do we have to only be leaders because we are called deacons or priests or mother generals, or do we need titles? No. To me, I don't think we need titles. If you are a leader, you will find out that in one way or another, you will even choose to decline from those titles. Those titles are not important. We have just been for our chapter in South Sudan, in Juba, and there was a lot of rumors going around when it was time to elect the Mother General. And some people came to me and said, Sister Rosemary, would like to elect you to be Mother General. And it sounded funny for me, but I told them, I said, I'm very glad you have recognized that I can be Mother General. And I thank you for that. And I also want to acknowledge that I could be, but at this point, I don't want to take it. I would like someone else to do it. Because all of us have been called for different missions. If there is someone who can take my place at this point in time, I am ready to remain in administration for 6 years. And really, I realized the sisters understood and said, no, let us leave her. We've understood what she said. This is to tell you that when you realize the potential in you of leadership, you will not need the title. You can decline from accepting the title, but yet you remain a leader. I still remain to implement the decisions which were taken in the chapter. I'm not the superior, but I must act as a superior. I must take my leadership role. I know maybe my superior may not be where I can be at this time. The Mother General right now is not in this platform where I am standing. We were talking about how we should change our directions of supporting the vulnerable, how we should include the refugees from South Sudan, how we need to help them. And everybody talked about that, it remained there, but I said, I know where I can take it to the next level. I know who to contact. And you see, this is a call, this is a vocation, not for everybody. Not everybody is going to say, I know where I can go. Maybe, because of experience, I have run out of shame. I can ask anybody about something truthful. I am able to look at someone in the face and say, this is not right and this is right. Can we work together? I can look at Francis and say, can we work as partners? Can you support me here? That is how I have run out of shame for truth and justice. And I'm not expecting everybody to take my position. I can only mentor somebody to work with me, but not say, take my position. Leadership is for everybody, but one person will go ahead of the others. And if you go ahead of the others in leadership, recognize that gift. Take it up and use it at the right time, in the right place. I'm very pleased that World Catholicism has brought out the issue of bringing women together and men. And for me, this is really a great beginning of that novelty we want to bring in the new discussion. Discussion about the roles of women in Catholic Church. And for me, the novelty is not a difficult thing. It's not anything bigger than partnership and unity, working together in order to come out and recognize the roles of women in the most powerful way. But at the same time, I would like to caution our own fellow women. In Uganda, I don't know if this is the same in the US or anywhere. When a person has PhD, they call it pull her down. Pull her down. So many times it's us fellow women who pull one another down. We do not promote one another. Even those who are much ahead in their leadership role do not support others. We do not bring them up. So this is a challenge for us women. Let us go back to the 4 model of leadership. The followers. We need followers. Yet at the same time, we have to be careful that when we have too many followers, when we have a mob, we can lose our face. But yet, it's very important for us to let people who can follow us and people who we know can carry our vision ahead. Let us serve them. Then we have those who are just standing by, the bystanders. We need those bystanders. Let us not ignore them, because they're going to give us the perspectives and the sense of direction. Let us put everybody who we think are not important in our lives. We bring them forward and understand why they are doing what they're doing. How can they help us? You may be surprised that a simple fellow woman may help you to be better than who you are at this point, and may help you to be a better leader. So let us not forget anybody in our leadership. And fellow women, please, let us support one another. Let us promote one another. Let us correct one another. If there's something not going right, bring us back to a sense of direction. There's so many women who are great leaders, but do they encourage others to reach their positions? No, they don't. There are a lot of women in Uganda, for instance, I must say, even in politics. There have been a lot of women in parliament. There have been, even our Speaker of Parliament right now is a woman. But how effective are these women to the grassroots women? How are they bringing them up? How are they empowering them? You will ask me, how can we empower women? There are many ways we can empower these grassroots women. And for me, the most important one is empowering them through any sort of education, being skills training, vocational training, adult literacy. It depends on the different situations. Let us go down and give a voice. Let us give dignity. Let us make these women know we are there. They can become leaders of tomorrow, and they can train their own children. They can be the great role model in the world. Think of your own parents, of your own mother. I grew up in a situation where I saw my mother playing a great leadership role in my family. My father was there, but I will not forget that it was my mother I saw as a leader. And for me, that was a point of empowerment. I felt empowered by my mother because she was not educated, but yet she was able to lead. She was able to make sure that all our children go to school. How did she get that? That is something all of us should think back about. Let us look at our grandparents, how powerful they were. And let us not forget that we can do the same. And this is the time God has given for all of us. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. See, there's some questions. I'll wait.
My name's Emily. I'm in the Refugee and Forced Migration Studies program here at DePaul. And you mentioned briefly that you're starting to work with refugees from South Sudan. So I just wanted to hear more about what your experience working with them has been like and how you empower that specific population of girls and women.
Actually, the South Sudanese refugees are so many in Uganda to the point that even our school is flooded with them. We're supposed to be taking 250 women in our school every year, and this year we have 400 women with their children. That is in one school. And in the second school we have 85 women with their children. But yet we are not even able to respond to the great need of these South Sudanese refugees. We actually went in our own discussion as separate as sisters that we need to move to these camps, to the settlement camps, and start preschool feeding program. When I told you that out of shame, I actually met the director of World Food Program in Washington, D.C., and I told him I needed to have a talk with him. He gave me the forum, and I told him, I've just been in Sudan. I witnessed the starvation of children in Sudan, and when they come to Uganda, they are even almost dying with starvation. And yet, this World Food Program giving food in these settlement camps. But the bureaucracies in these camps does not allow these children to get food at the right time. I had to offer him a simple solution that we as sisters, as women, are going to work alongside World Food Program. Not as World Food Program, but as sisters, but we need their support. And after 2 weeks, they sent me a form to fill for a project to run the preschool feeding program. I filled it very fast, and on the plane as I was coming, I got a positive response. They have granted the fund. The sisters then go to feed children.
Sylvia from Nigeria. When these women, do they ever graduate from your school? Is there a follow-up on their lives after they have been with you?
We have graduated more than 2,000 women from 2002 up to now. And of course, the follow-up is that we make sure that we start other programs which can bring them back. Like we have studied adult literacy to train them how to read and write and give them more voices that they can speak for themselves. And so most of these women actually live now in their own communities, but we track them. And we have remained a point of reference for them in such a way that we are helping them to become advocates for one another. And actually, the group of women who passed from our school, like almost 100 of them, formed a network advocacy where they can go in the community and find other women who might not have benefited from the programs we've started, and they bring them forward. And actually last year I took 2 of them to Oklahoma University to speak, and it is unfortunate that they cannot speak English. They are still learning, but I told them, speak even broken English, people will not laugh at you because you're learning. And I think these women are really going to be great leaders for the others.
Sister, I want to know actually the kind of networks that you are building with African sisters, say, that you think offers a lot of hope.
You see, one thing that we African sisters do not have a lot of network, maybe not only African sisters, we sisters do not network very, very easily, I should say. And one thing about the difficulties of networking for us in Africa, maybe we are not really so much social media oriented, and we do not know what we are all doing in different places. I give you one example. In Washington, D.C., I met an American man from Phoenix who heard what I was doing and said, "Sister, there is another sister in Zambia who is doing what you're doing, Sister Josephine. Would you mind meeting her?" And I say, "I have no problem, I can go and meet her." And the man said, "I really want you to work together to see, because you are doing exactly what she's doing in Uganda. And so I'm looking forward to meeting Sister Josephine." Then there is another sister in Congo. I was told by somebody doing more or less the same thing, and I would like to meet these sisters one day. But the problem we have is how to connect. You know that we have limited network, we have limited internet and so forth, so it becomes very difficult for us to really meet. What do you think, sister? Am I right?
Yes, sure.
We would love to network.
So Sister Rosemary, I wonder if you would just say a little bit about what it means to be a sister and doing the work that you do. In what ways does being a sister make it possible for you to do what you do? And are there any ways in which it makes things more difficult? I'm trying to account for why sisters around the world have such an incredible track record of doing the kinds of things that you're doing. What would be your explanation of why that is?
I think being a sister is a plus to do what I'm doing, and also I feel kind of set free to do what I'm doing, because I have no obligation. Because if you really look carefully, let me speak of myself as an African woman, I would not compare myself with my fellow sister who could be in high leadership position, and yet she's emotionally tortured because when she goes home, she's subject to violence, domestic violence. I don't have that. I'm not ready for that. And that sets me free to do what I'm doing. I know that also the church can torture me, but I have a voice to answer back. And when I'm talking with the church, I'm talking with the male counterpart in church. But I can answer them back, and yet I am free. I'm far away. I'm not committed to them. And so I think being a sister actually has a big advantage of doing what I'm doing. And anybody could do that, of course. You can see Maggie. Maggie is not married. She's free. She's able to do what she can do. People will torture her, she answers back. In fact, she did not tell you, she don't show you when she got the curtains of the bishop's house and sewed into dresses for children. Nobody penalized her. So, she's kind of free for that. There's a certain limitation anyway somewhere, but I think that is my own view. I don't know what others think about it. You can discuss it and let me know. So, no more questions? I wish you all the best for the whole week in this discussion, and I really pray that we can come up with some new topics, some new flavors to bring in the role of women in the church. Thank you so much.